Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Simon Serves. This is the way the module looks. We've got 6 colored dots around a table as you can see here, and we've got 4 LEDs on the right side representing our stages. This is going to be based off of 4 stages, so let's get this module started. So, the guests will always be red, blue, green, violet, white, and black. It will always be in this exact order, by the way, I should mention. So, let's get this thing started. Initially, the table is going to be empty. Knock on the table to signal that Simon is ready to serve his guests. These are Simon's guests, by the way. So, now let's get this thing started. And what you'll see here is you'll see a wide variety of different colors of dishes that will be served here. So, these are dishes Simon serves to his guests. Each colored plate represents a drink or food Simon serves. Note that the shape itself does not matter. It only cares about the colors. The possible colors are white, brown, red, blue, green, yellow, and orange, and pink. Unfortunately, Simon doesn't take orders. He will serve random dishes and drinks from which the guests must pick one each. Once you knock on the table, the guests around the table will start flashing in a sequence. This is your base order for the given stage. For each stage, consider the base order and adjust it according to the stage rule. There will be a couple rules as you can see when we get down here. So, that is your pick order. Then, consider the priority lists in the pick order and read them accordingly to the stage rule. For input, press the first guest on your pick order, then the first dish you encounter on that guest's priority list, which is also served on the table. Note in mind that once you select a dish on the table here, it will disappear and it will not be able to be selected anymore afterwards. We're going to repeat this process for each guest, alternating between guest and dish until every guest is served. Picking the guests in the wrong order or assigning them the wrong dish will cause a strike and make Simon angry. He will clean the table and serve fresh dishes for the current stage. Note: consider the first flash and the last to be connected into a loop. So let's get our flashes here. Let's get our first flashes. We've got end of sequence here. We've got black, violet, blue, white, green, and finally the last flash will be red. Red. So the yellow dot obviously will tell you which one is flashing, and we should be good to go. So now, let's take a look. So for course 1, and this is essentially what the stages are, it's going to be course 1, course 2, course 3, and so on and so forth for all 4 stages. So for course 1, it is going to be represented by drinks. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see what we actually have on the menu here. And in this case, there's going to be 6 of the 8 items present from each of these items here. So we've got red, which is Cruello juice. We've got green, which is Forget Cocktail. We've got brown, this is brown, and this is orange. Very important to note these differences down. Brown, orange. Brown is very dark. Orange is a bit dark, but it's distinct enough to be able to tell from one another. We have yellow, which is Wire Shake. Orange, which is Detto Bowl. And we have a pink, which is Tasha's Drink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing. What are we missing? Brown. Boom Lager Beer. There we go. So we have our 6 dishes here, and now these tables show our guest preparations. And we're going to get these lists, but we need to first figure out what the stage rule is for each stage, and determine whether we have to swap the guests for a specific pick order. So let's take a look here. If violet, blue, and red flash consecutively in any order, swap the first guest with the last. This is the reason why it wants you to note down. Consider the first and last flash to be connected into a loop. However, in this case, violet and blue are completely separated from red. It does not work. It is not that rule. So we're going to swap the second guest with the fourth. Simple enough. So we're going to do violet and white swapping here. Violet and white. Now, with these stage rules, these swappings might also have to do with the way that we begin at the entry. If Cruello juice is served, start at the 5th entry of the priority list in reading order, wrapping around. So, for this one, for Cruello juice is indeed actually on the module here. So, this is true. We're going to start from the 5th entry of the priority list in reading order. Note that this means that we're going to be starting, this is going to be our pick order, so we're going to start with black, and with the priority order, we're going to go to black's position, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This first position, in this case, Forget Cocktail, will be our starting position, and this will be the exact same starting position for all of these guys here. And we will continue in reading order, wrapping around. So, for black, we have Forget Cocktail as our first option, and Forget Cocktail has not been taken by anyone else. We can therefore have black take this green. So we're going to hit the guest, and we're going to hit the green. And just like that, you hear 2 sounds from that, representing that it being correct. So now, next up, we have got white. We're going to start from the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from Tasha's Drink. pasta string has not been taken. It is pink, so we're going to go white and then pink. Good to go. Next up, we've got blue. We're going to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to start from Simon's Special Mix. Now, Simon's Special Mix is not on the module, so with this being said, we're simply going to move on to the next one. In this case, that would be Wire Shake. Wire Shake has not been chosen yet. It is yellow, so that is good to go. So blue and yellow. That's good. Next up, violet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Detto Bowl. Detto Bowl has not been taken yet. It is orange, so violet and orange will be our answer for this one. That's good so far. And by the way, it will immediately let you know when you receive a strike. It will not wait till the end, obviously. So we're doing things good so far. Next up is green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frullo juice. Frullo juice has not been taken. That is going to be red. So that is going to be green and red. And finally, for our last option, red and brown will have to be chosen. Let's start down the next stage. Green, red, blue, violet, white, and black. And as you can see, this first stage indicator will change to green, and just like that, we've made it past the first stage, first course. So now we're going to move on down to the second rule. Now, one important thing to keep in mind, there is only one stage that we want to keep in the back of our minds, and that is going to be when we get to the main course. We're going to want to keep the pick order down for this because there is a very important rule in both course 4 and the final bit of this module. In this case, as you can see here, if the red, white, or green had the first pick at the main course, that is going to be one of the stage's rules for this. So we need to make sure that we keep the pick order for the main course. And as you can see with the bill is after completing all 4 courses of the table, the table will clear, and it is time to pay Simon for this delicious meal. And consider the guest who had the last pick on the main course. And as you can see here, this is where the main course comes into play here. This is the only stage you actually need to keep down as with the specific colors. For the other stages, you might need to keep down specific drinks or specific appetizers. Just keep them highlighted. Don't clear them all quite yet, and continue on with the module. So let's take a look at our next example here. So we've got course 2 with the appetizer. We have blue, yellow, pink, brown, green, and white. There we go. We got our flashing sequence here. And if we take a look here, if 3 guests flashed consecutively in counterclockwise order, swap the 3rd guest with the 4th and the 2nd with the 5th. Let's take a look. So we've got green, red, blue, violet, white, and black. Unfortunately, this is 3 in clockwise order, so this is not what we're looking for. So this is not true. So otherwise, we're going to swap the first guest with the last and put guests 3 and 4 to the end of the list. So first with last, so in this case, the green and black swap, black and green. And the blue and violet are going to immediately be put at the end. There we go. So now, for our priority list rules here, if bouillon waffles and more soup are served, more soup is not served, so therefore this rule does not apply. So it needs both of them to be served. In this case, this is not true. Otherwise, we're going to reverse the priority lists for red, green, and black instead of white, violet, and blue, the other case. In this case, we're going to reverse the priority list. We're going to start from the end, for example, for red, green, and black. So in this case, let's start with black. Black is one of the colors that we need to reverse, so we're going to start with Edgework Toast. Edgework Toast is indeed present on the module. It is white, so we're going to select black and white. Okay, next up, red. Red is another one we need to reverse. So let's start with Big Boom Tortellini. That is going to be brown, so red and brown. Next up, white. White we do not need to reverse, so Status Lake Rolls is indeed present on the module, so white and green. Good to go. Green is the last one we need to reverse. Status Lake Rolls has already been selected. Blast Shrimps is, yes, it is yellow. So green and yellow. And finally, blue. Next up, blue, rather. Blue, we do not need to reverse anymore. We've done all 3 reversals, so let's hit blue. Big Boom Tortellini is brown. That's already been served, though. Edgework Toast is white. We've already served that. Caesar Salad, we don't have that. Blast Shrimp, we've already served that. Status Light Rolls has already been served. More Soup, we don't have that. Ticking Time Cakes is blue, so blue and blue is what the dish wants. And finally, for our last one, violet and pink. Okay, we can get rid of this order, and now let's head on down to stage 3, the main course. We've got white. I also gotta give a shout out to these names. These are really clever names. So we've got, we don't have red or green, so it's going to be these last 6 things. Okay, so let's get the sequence here. And we're going to keep this in our notes until we get to the last stage and the build part of this. We've got blue, red, green, violet, white, and black. Now, if two guests seated opposite of each other flashed right after another 2 times or more, and in this case this only applies once, green and violet. This does not happen at all. So in this case, it's not 2 or more times. Otherwise, we're going to take the first 3 guests, swap them with the last 3 guests, and reverse both halves. So in this case, the first 3 is going to be going into the back, and now we're going to simply swap the halves. So in this case, we're going to split these up into 2. We're going to do black, white, violet, and we're going to do green, red, blue. Put them back together, and this is going to be our pick order. We're going to keep this in our notes for the meantime. So, let's keep you in mind. So now we're going to start with black. However, let's take a look. If Forgetti Bombogenes is served, and Forget Cocktail was consumed as a drink, this is why it's important that you keep these drinks in mind. In this case, we did indeed have Forget Cocktail from beforehand. So, if we take a look here, Forget Bombogenes, we do not actually have on the model. We need to have both of these cases. In this case, red was not served as the main course. This rule, therefore, does not apply. So otherwise, we're going to swap the first 4 entries with the last 4 entries, then reverse the whole list. Okay. So the first 4 and the last 4, and then swap the whole, and then reverse the whole list. So in this case, we're going to essentially take a look at something like this. So let's start with black. So we swap the first 4 and the last 4. I'm actually just going to copy the whole list here. So the first 4 and last 4, and then reverse the whole list. Quite a bit of information we need to do here. First 4 and last 4, something like this, and then we're going to reverse the whole list. So in this case, we're going to be starting with the Veggie Blast Plate, is what I'm seeing here. This is quite an interesting rule, definitely. We would reverse this whole thing. First 4, last 4. Oh, excuse me. We're going to be starting with Omelette au Bombage. So in this case, that's all we simply need to do. So we're going to do Omelette au Bombage, which in this case we do have as orange. So black is going to be selecting orange. It's good to go. Now let's do the same thing with these other 4. So essentially what's going to be happening here is we're going to start at 4, and then we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to do, let me make sure I'm thinking about this right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to do 5, and then we're going to do, 8, 7, 6, 5. That's the way that this works. Basically, easy to understand. So next up we have white here. Next up is white. So we're going to start from 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forgetting Bombogenes. I have no idea how to pronounce that, excuse me. So don't give me crap in the comments. Next up we've got wire spaghetti, which is a module, which is going to be blue. White has, blue is still on the table, so we can do white and blue. That's good to go. Violet is going to be starting with Omelette au Bombage. We've already served that. Next up is going to be Centurion Wings. We do not have that. Veggie Blast Plate is going to be pink. That is indeed true. We have violet and pink here on the table. That's good to go. Next up is green. Green is going to be starting with NATO Shrimps. NATO Shrimps is going to be white. So white is not taken yet, so it's going to be green and white. Good to go. And finally, next up, red. Starting with the 4th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, Centurion Wings. We do not have that. We do not have wire spaghetti anymore. We do not have red on Forgetti Bombogenes. And we do actually have Indicator Tartar. That is indeed good to know. So we have brown here. In this case, we'll be going with red. And finally, blue will be taking yellow. Now, let's not delete this list quite yet. We've got one more stage left to do, and this is where things get a little bit important. So for this stage, we have orange, we've got pink, we've got brown, we've got red, green, and finally blue. Okay, so now let's get these flashes for the stage. We've got some blue, red, black. I'm starting somewhere in the sequence. We've got violet, we've got white. Should be either green at the beginning or end. It is indeed at the end. End of sequence starts with blue. Okay, good deal. So this is where the important part comes into play here. If red, white, or green had the first pick at the main course, in this case it did not. Black had the first pick at the main course. This is after we've determined the pick order here. So this is the pick order. So no, we're not going to be doing that. Otherwise, with the first three and the last three, we have the last three and reverse the order. In this case, we're going to open the first half with the second half, but now we're going to reverse the entire order. So it's going to be black, red, blue, green, white, and violet. That's going to be our pick order right there. If bamboozling waffles and striped pie are served, bamboozling waffles is orange, striped pie is red. Both of these are indeed present onto the module here. That is going to be true. We're going to consider the first entry of the priority list, then the last, then the second, then the seventh, and so on and so forth. So in this case, it's going to be first, last, second, seventh, third, sixth, and so on and so forth, as you can see here. So that's what we're going to be doing with this module. So we're going to start with black, and this is our dessert course. Diffuse au chocolat. We do have that. That is going to be brown, so black and brown. That's good to go. Next up, red. Bamboozling waffles is going to be orange. That we do have that, so red and orange. Blue. Blast wave compote. That is one that we don't have. Diffuse au chocolate. We have already served that. Then we have got bamboozling waffles. We just served that too. Then next up we have not ice cream, which is blue. So that is going to be served to. It's going to be blue and blue. Okay. Then we have green. We've got bombe brulee, which is pink. That has not been served yet, so green and pink. And we have white. White is going to be baked batteries. We don't have that on the module actually. We've got bombe brulee. We just served that. We have blast wave compote. We don't have that. Strike pie is red. We have not served that yet, so white and red. And violet and green will be our last order. And just like that, we have now reached the final part of this module. After completing all 4 courses on the table, the table will be cleared. It is time to pay Simon for this delicious meal. Consider the guest who had the last pick on the main course. So in this case, our last pick is going to be blue. Now, if that guest's real name has a letter in common with the serial number, that guest has to pay the bill. And as you can see here, the real names of the guests, besides the colors they are wearing, are going to be Riley, Brandon, Veronica, Gabriel, Wendy, and Kaylee. So in this case, when we start with blue, it's going to be Brandon. Does Brandon have a letter in common with the serial number? Indeed he does. It's a November, so he has November in common. If we did not happen to have this case apply for us, we would simply continue clockwise around the table, not around the pick order in this case. So we would go from blue to green to violet to white to black to red, and if none of them apply, then simply just click on the table with no one paying the bill. So, but we know that Brandon is going to be paying the bill for us. Thank you, Brandon. We're going to hit blue in this case, and we're going to hit the table. And just like that is a solved module. A fairly straightforward module. I only really feel like I need to do one example of this. It's really not that hard to understand. Just make sure that you understand what the orders are asking you for. It's easily the trickiest part, as well as the priority lists and how they work. Sometimes it wants to consider every third entry, which in this case would be starting with wire spaghetti, then going 1, 2, 3 to colored square ribs, then 1, 2 wrapping around to centurion wings, and so on and so forth. But overall, not too hard of a module to understand. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.